Introducing Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. Comes with adventure book and story record with sound effects. Action figures sold separately.
Let's hear He-Man, Skeletor, and the Point Dread story.
I, Skeletor, will finally defeat He-Man!
I'll use the Talon Fighter to stop Skeletor!
In a flash, He-Man's hurled through space and time.
Surrender to the power of Point Dread's Talon Fighter!
You win, He-Man, but I'll be back!
Point Dread and the Talon Fighter with record and storybook. You have to put it together. Action figures sold separately from Mattel.
Hello, welcome to Master Powercast. On tonight's episode, we're going to be taking an extensive look at Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. This is something that I think a lot of people don't ever really mention because it's just an add-on. Most people are like, it's an add-on accessory for Castle Grayskull. And yes, while that is true in toy form, there's so much about it that is I find fascinating because the little bit of pieces of information that you get through the record storybook that we get, the mini comic that we get, all of them kind of tell a different story for Point Dread. So there's a lot of variations here and variables. And since you like doing the storytelling more often than not and getting all those ideas in, this seems kind of perfect for you to use it in a variety of ways. And we were talking before we were starting to record. I was going to wait until we got to more of the toy portion of it, but you started looking around because I was like, you have this, right? And you're like, yeah, I do, but I had it attached to Castle Grayskull, but I took it down because it was too tall, and now you don't know where it's at.
Yeah, I have no idea where it's at, but I do own it. I bought it complete from Happy Flea Market years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no idea where I put it. I have no clue. But yes, I do own it. It just would have to take a lot of time to figure out, is it here or is it in
packed away
storage at my mom's house?
Oh man. Well, hopefully you can find that when you actually do attempt to look for it again, and maybe see if it'll squeeze on top there. You might.
Yeah, I don't think
you might have room.
It'll definitely. The new shells make it too tall for it there. It had to be like set off to the side. You know, that's if I find it, that's where it's going to have to be. Because I unless I want to move Castle Grayskull down over here next to Eternia, which
you could.
That could be done.
It could be done.
Yeah.
And then it opens up that space on that shelf. You could put something else.
Put all my vehicles and things up there and take the castles. Well, I might be onto something here.
Oh, there we go. Well, let's go ahead. Let's jump on into all of this. The approximate U.S. release date for this is August 4th, 1983. And according to an interview with Ted Mayer, the idea for the Talon Fighter originated with a sketch for the Eternia playset, the Mount Eternia, which I will show you here momentarily. There are a couple of those in existence, and both seem to feature a flying vehicle that bears some resemblance to the final Talon Fighter design. So here we have the cross-cell artwork, and here is kind of where the inspiration may have come from, the Mount Eternia shot here. So
yeah, it's the early precursor to the Three Towers.
Yeah.
And seeing this for the first time in, I think it was Power and Honor. I think it's the first time I saw it. But when I look at a lot of these concepts, I think like, man, this still could be used. This could be turned into something. This has potential. Like, I look at that and like, okay, this is more world building.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you could still have like this could be a completely separate, forgotten fortress that has no attachment to being a precursor to the Three Towers. Like this is something that could be, again, like they like to throw on scientists built Castle Grayskull. Well, in the mythology, like you could say scientists built this as a means of, just looking at this like a fortress of good that was forgotten by, a society that's, much like it just goes extinct. It goes forgotten, much like Castle Grayskull. Like, man, we could take this over. Much like how like the Thundercats have the Cat's Lair and they have the Tower of Omens.
Yeah.
You could have multiple stations for heroic warriors to be stationed throughout the planet and not just be all hanging out at the Royal Palace waiting to be dispatched, or like in a lot of the vintage mythology, everyone's kind of hanging around Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool to like make this like a hideaway for the heroic warriors. Like when you're on duty and not at the Royal Palace like Castle Grayskull, you're hanging out here waiting to be dispatched.
Yeah. And, to kind of go into when we start to cover some of the stories later on, you think about that. They allude to the distance between Castle Grayskull and Eternos and the royal palace. It's like, oh, that's such a trek away, and to have something like this to be maybe an in between spot, or like you said, somewhere else that kind of shortens distances. That
like if it was at the halfway point.
Yeah.
Something that was uncovered between Grayskull and the royal palace. That was like, okay, we're going to make this our battle station. We're going to have maybe set up a security system there, because the sorcerers, I can't imagine having a telepathic link to Buzz-Off and Roboto. It's always going to be with He-Man, but we should always have someone or several individuals, much like how they had the Watchtower with the Justice League or the Avengers Mansion. You got guys on duty, like Cap and Iron Man may be off duty, but you got Thor, Hercules, She-Hulk, Black Knight, and Ms. Marvel like on duty. They're on. So this you could have, Buzz-Off, Roboto, Clamp Champ, Lizard Man, Moss Man, and Rio Blast are on duty this week. That kind of thing. And this would be their hideout to this. This is if they catch Trap Jaws trying to break in. Well, that prison gate right there, we got him right there. We have him locked here until we can get him to the prison mines at Eternos. Like it's like a Fort Carrium almost. Like it's got everything you need here to be a safeguard to protect, either head one direction to Castle Grayskull, or head to the Ice Mountains, or head down south to the Dark Hemisphere, whatever you got. But it also has a place to keep, prisoners at bay if they're like, they're fucking around trying to cause some shit. Like, we don't have the transportation to, take them someplace else. We can keep them locked down here in various stations that, like the heads, what they move around, kind of like the cat's eye of the cat's lair, moving around for surveillance and things like that. Well, we got a fucking brilliant idea right now, don't we?
Yeah, well, there we go. There needs to be more of that kind of stuff in mythology to things, period. It's like, yes, we have our main sets, but having secondary locations like this, secondary fortresses that you could use, it's like, there's just money on the table right there.
And it's like, I think the dinkies at who work on Origins think they're doing that. Now they just come off like morons. And
yeah. So we have a look here at Big Jim, the Space Spy vehicle, and you can kind of see the similarities here.
Yes, with the Talon Fighter, with the radar dish up top, and it having this kind of triangular shape that's very reminiscent of the Hawk form that the Talon Fighter would take on.
Yeah. So when we jump in here, this is from both of these images from the Filmation series guide. I'll go ahead and read some of this out here. Point Dread is a craggy peak emerging from the Eternian Ocean. It is an extinct volcano with a tunnel leading down to a fantastic, ruined Atlantis-like city hidden beneath the ocean floor. Inside Point Dread, Skeletor keeps all the treasure he has plundered from 1,000 worlds. There are also mines and construction sites waiting for the slaves Skeletor plans to take once he has seized control of Eternia. But the heart of Point Dread is the Great Council Chamber, where Skeletor summons the sinister Masters of the Universe. Here, Skeletor sits on a raised platform above the round table where are gathered the likes of... Da, da, da. So it's very interesting that there is descriptions of Point Dread being like a lair for Skeletor.
Which makes sense at the time, when there's no mention of Snake Mountain at all in the early mini comics and anything like that, and even sometimes it's just kind of a mountain. It's not even the toy form in some mini comics, and then eventually you see that. So, and the name Point Dread, too, it just sounds like, that would be the name of a place that evil would make its lair. Yeah.
And then in regards to the Talon Fighter, it says here, a winged flying vehicle able to execute death-defying aerial acrobatics. There we go. It is equipped with a special laser bomb pack under its belly. The Talon Fighter is frequently perched atop Castle Grayskull. Only He-Man has the physical fortitude and strength of will to control the Talon Fighter. Much like a wild bucking bronco, the vehicle will go berserk and fly out of control with anyone but He-Man in its command module. So also very interesting to read all
which
that.
I feel like
I
get what they're going with that, but I feel like that really limits the concept of it, because that's implying that the people who built it were anticipating the coming of He-Man. Not, I kind of feel like I'll kind of get into my idea about it once we kind of dig
Okay.
into some of the other things. But I think it's cool. They really want to emphasize like this is much like Battle Cat. Like this is only something He-Man can fly, and I like that. Probably pushed a little too much, saying like it's like when Percy's trying to break in Pegasus.
Yeah.
It's like it's a flying machine. It's a vehicle. Like I kind of, unless it is given the capacity to think, and that its controls are very finicky because it only if they built it in the sense that we only want someone who is really true in strength and heart could really tame this vehicle that has a mind of its own, which in the world of He-Man, like it's not out of the realm of possibility. So I guess if you really wanted to think it in that way, then yeah, you'd have to make like the attack track in Filmation has a mind of its own. If you give it commands, it will interact with you and say, "Yeah, what do you mean if I can? Like, of course I can distract Skeletor. I can, it can do things that you ask of it, and it has personality. Like if you want to make the Talon fighter like that, I mean, I guess you could, but they built it in the sense like, well, someone is going to come along someday and be the main protector of Grayskull. We don't know who, but we know only someone with that strength, skill, and power would be able to command this particular vehicle.
Right.
And even then, I kind of have a broad idea of like where to go with that once we get to a particular panel in the record book.
All right. Well, when we get there, you just let me know and we'll take off running. But here's a page from the UK Annual, once again, describing Point Dread as the lair of Skeletor. I'm not going to read all that out. So if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and give that a pause and read this page. But here's some of the other illustrations.
This was cool. I found this map quite fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like you see the Royal Palace down there, or up there, excuse me. And just these various other kingdoms, and that Point Dread is out over the ocean, which is a great visual. The thing Skeletor's lair is over the ocean, out on this craggy peak, and they've either got to use aerial transportation or water transportation or straight up teleportation with magic to get where they want to go. And I like the idea that Skeletor's ready to launch an attack, so he's got to assemble a wide variety of aerial vehicles or hovercraft, and then they all come storming the beach of Eternia, much like the beaches of Normandy, Merman, Beastman, Trapjaw, and Triclops all together. Like, it's quite cool, and to look at all these various places here, like more stuff you could add to the mythology of Master of the Universe.
Absolutely. So now we take a look at the toys.
Yeah.
So here we go. And when you look at it in this regard, it's like, oh, that seems kind of small, but it's when you notice that it's going to be sitting on top of Castle Grayskull, it's like, in fact, yes, this is very massive.
It is, and it adds extra scale to Grayskull. And when I did get mine, that was the first thing I did with it. When I learned in the early years that because I had a Talon fighter that was missing damn near everything other than like the cockpit cover. Didn't have the radar dish, did not have the base, and certainly not the stand. And it was a hand-me-down, so I just knew it was a He-Man vehicle. I didn't even know what it was called. So when I got it complete, like, oh my god, like you can add this and just put it on Grayskull. It just I mean, look at that. That's just epic. To add this mini play set with its own vehicle that's meant to defend Grayskull. I mean, you give a lot of extra firepower and scope and scale to Castle Grayskull. That's not just Forgotten Fortress. Now it has its own. You got people who are defending it, but it has its own attack vehicle to ward off enemies and things like that too. It's like and this is one of the best pieces of box art in the entire line. That I when I saw this for the first time, I think it was in Tomart's guide, because they used to do a lot of He-Man specials in there, and I just thought, look at this. We've got, and of course, seeing Triclops leading the way of an attack from Skeletor with Merman, and the fog behind them, like around Castle Grayskull, and then seeing like He-Man and Teela are in the Talon fight, getting ready to take off, and Man at Arms is ready to ward, like stall the evil warriors so that way they can make their getaway to whatever mission or whatever they got to accomplish. That's how I took that. Like, this is Man-at-Arms' last stand, so that way they can go do something very important that He-Man and Tilly have got to go take care of. Like, that tells a story, right? This is a battle. Like, oh my God, it's a race against time. We got to get here. Oh my God, here comes Skeletor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just me. I don't care. Get the fuck out of here. Go. And you see, they take off and they look down, see Man-at-Arms is clashing, and then he's being taken down because it's too many people. And it's like, oh my God.
I do wonder how much this was, because you think about it. Parents looking at this box, I guess one impressive thing, 3 toys in one. You get your rugged frontier outpost, Talon Fighter for winged combat, and battle station high atop the castle. But not only that,
you get a record and an adventure book. I mean, this was a prime package.
Yeah,
I mean, it had everything.
It really did. I'm surprised that there weren't more record and adventure books included with stuff.
That's a good point, because I feel like there were so many concepts for smaller play sets and things like that, and this being a play set battle station, or just, you could look at it as just a vehicle, could have paved way for like more pack-ins of record books and expanding, like little things that you could add on to Snake Mountain, or little things you could add on to the Fright Zone, or just little outposts in general that could be either used for good, evil, or both. Much like this, it seems to be presented as something that everybody wants to get after. Like the evil wars want claim of this, the heroic wars want to protect it. It's again, it's one of those things, like a constant expansion of Capture the Flag. Like I gotta have that. It doesn't belong to you, but I gotta have it. We need to protect it. We got to protect our flag, or like we got to get theirs, and we want the upper end on this. And that's how I've kind of looked at the Talon Fighter over the years. Like, it's something that, much like Castle Grayskull, it's something that it's up for grabs, and whoever can get a hold of it has an edge in the battle.
Yeah, and it got me thinking, with this being released the early to mostly mid 80s here, with it having the record included with the package, I started wondering, I wonder what at that period of time, what the install base was in homes for record players. Because at this point, CDs were going to be around, but they hadn't taken over like they were going to do at the late 80s, early 90s, and then going into the new millennium. So we definitely had one. I'm sure you had a record player in your home. So
I had a tape player, like record player. That's what we had in daycare, and that's how I listened to the majority of my of first stories was on the Peter Pan record books.
Yeah,
and that from the old G.I. Joe from the '60s to the Rescuers to Pinocchio and various other stuff. So I was all about. I just never had access to my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting. How many people had record players in their homes?
Which I kind of felt like there were so many, like record players, whether it was because the Peter Pan brand did a ton of records and record books, and it kind of felt like when you see how many were available from the 70s into the 80s, like it seemed like records were the most. I mean, there were various record or play along books for a lot of properties in the 80s as well. But it seemed like the records must have been fairly commonplace, for kids to have records for these read along. I mean, because people are still using records for listening to music. Yeah. So get one for my child, and that way he can listen to his books on tape.
That's kind of where I was going with it too. Is like we had a record player that also had a tape deck with it, but I also wonder too if people at this point in time had kind of more so moved into the cassette tape, and then maybe the CDs if they had a shitload of money, or if because you didn't have a record player in your home.
We had a record player, but it was like for actual records, not the small ones. So it never even occurred to me.
I wouldn't be so sure about that, Tyler, because a lot of them did have the dual to where you could play both speeds.
I guess like the piece that you pick up and set on the record to hear the kind of crackling noise and stuff like that. I don't know if it could be if it was too long because it's meant for like an actual full-size vinyl record.
Right.
If you could shrink it down, like extend it back down to where it would fit a smaller record.
Yeah, they had Gosh, yeah. Now that gets me thinking that like ours played the regular size finals, but then there was also like an attachment that you could put on that would play the 33s.
Yeah, because since I
and
got
45s.
the tape
Yeah.
player Christmas of '88 because my Santa Claus had brought me this whole big select collection of Disney books on tape. Like it was like a set of like 5 or 6 books with a tape. So that's how I would listen. We didn't go with my own tape player to play it. So I think had I been born a couple of years earlier, I probably would have gotten a record player to play with a variety of record books probably.
Yeah, that's something you should actually look. There's actually a Master Universe record player that exists.
I want to say I think there was. I feel like there were so many. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
that there was. Yeah,
I own one actually. Dad found one.
Yeah.
Dad found one at a flea market some years back. But yeah, because all those brands are coming out with stuff. I had my own Mickey Mouse record player, so that's I don't recall listening to a lot of these record books. Much at all, really. I think most of them were, like you said, the book on tape stuff, where at this point we had the cassette tapes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What a weird time.
Yeah, because they were also putting out He-Man books with cassette tapes. Like the Revenge of Skeletor. I think it's called the Revenge of Skeletor, the Sword of Skeletor. And it's one of the early ones. And there were some small ones. And I actually had traded a buddy in elementary school to get his Skeletor, the Sword of Skeletor, or the book, or I forget which one it was called. He had the tape with it, and it still worked.
Man.
And I remember going home that day and playing it, and just being like, oh my God, this is another part of the He-Man mythology, or a part that I never got to experience, and
yeah.
Where the hell was I going with this?
No, I was just saying it was a weird time for us growing up.
Oh yeah, because they were like, it wasn't just records. They were that's the point, is that they were putting out records and cassette tapes. I guess because cassette tapes were like the new thing.
Yeah,
it was
like cassettes and then CDs at this point. 8 tracks were still kind of around, but a lot of people weren't getting the 8 tracks that I recall. I seem to remember it more being the cassettes and then definitely CDs.
CD was like 4K today. Like that's the top tier, whereas cassettes were all through the 80s and into the majority of the 90s still.
It just makes me think of Wedding Singer. It's like, yeah, I got this new CD player. It's just like, oh, I'll go get a record. It's like, no, it's a CD player.
Yeah, I know the thing you're talking about too. Yeah.
So here's the back of the box, which we get red and white.
I always love seeing the cross-sell artwork, either illustrated in ink or fully painted, because it's just so cool to see them advertise who was available to buy at that time. I never get tired of this.
Yeah, we get Battle Cat and Attack Track there at the bottom.
Just seeing Trapjaw and Triclops, because I can't tell you how many times I would have to rely on looking at the back of the mini comics, and of course the back of the packaging, and just fantasize what it would be like to own so many of these guys I would not own for a few more years.
And then once again gives you the contents, tells you all action figures are 5.5 inches tall.
Yeah.
Here we go. We get our instruction booklets. Tell you how to apply all the labels and stuff. So you get your perch, your wings, your parapet, your book and record. You got to make sure that that's there. It tells you how to put all that shit together. Assemble the control and panel and console. I imagine you probably, maybe for the stickers, but I think as far as putting it together simply, seems a little self-explanatory.
Yeah, I said the Talon Fire is definitely not one of those more complicated things to put. It's not like it's something a fucking star screen.
Yeah. And then it's like, hey, snap this shit on top of Castle Grayskull.
And it just sits on it, and it comes right off. So that's one of those nice things about that, is that it doesn't snap on to where it's like you really got to be careful. You just place it on there perfectly and take it off anytime you want. You don't have to worry about any kind of damaging or breaking the tabs or anything like that. It was a perfect addition to Castle Grayskull. Mattel was very spot on. Why can't you be that today?
It tells you it can hold 2 figures, and you get a 90-day limited warranty. Look at that. Limited warranty.
Yeah, they're living by their products. Why don't you do it today?
More assembly for the Frontier Outpost. Shows you how to do that. And then here's a look at the record beside of the instruction booklet. So with that, we're going to now we're going to move on to the story part before we start finishing up the rest of this. So let me make a little switch over here. What we're going to do first is we're going to start with me. Yeah, I was like, what buttons do I need to hit right here? Before we dive into the actual record book, let's start with the mini comic, The Power.
Which I always found fascinating. The mini comic cover and the record book cover are very reminiscent of each other.
Yeah. But also strange too that I guess it's in the regards like, oh hey, if you couldn't get that, here's a mini comic as sort of a consolation prize, even though the stories are very different.
The stories are different. The context of the use of Point Dread and the Talon Fighter are completely different in both stories too.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, that again, it's one of those fascinating things. Okay, someone went in this direction, Mattel said okay, and someone else went in this direction, Mattel said it was okay. You know. And then Filmation is thinking about going in another direction. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty much all bets are off. Whatever you got an idea, great, run with it. Like, I'm not gonna stop you.
Yeah. But yeah, what Skeletor used the mystic might of Point Dread to endanger all of Eternia, but the goodness spirited the entire structure off to Castle Grayskull, merging with its mystic strongholds. So at this point, Skeletor, he's got his crystal of the caverns, which he's going to use to try to rip away the Talon Fighter here. So he's like, yes.
When I got this mini comic, I remember getting this at the Hillsville Flea Market, and this was my first like real introduction to like more about what the Talon Fighter and Point Dread even were.
Mm-hmm.
Was this mini comic, and seeing Skeletor like in this meditative state, I thought was interesting too. Like I'm going to go all the way to Castle Grayskull. I'm going to sit in front of it and meditate, and I'm going to try and fuck with this castle here. And I love that the castle will act against his meditative state of trying to take the Talon Fighter from Castle Grayskull. And he's like, for whatever reason, his power is stronger than the power of Grayskull in that moment.
Yeah, and so he succeeds and he takes off. But he drops the crystal and it smashes on the ground. He's like, don't worry about it. I got what I needed.
Yep.
Who needs that, right? Little foreshadowing there. So then he makes it back. Interesting look for Triclops.
Yeah, that's the classic mini comic look, which was, kind of makes you wonder at what point, how far in the preliminary stages that the character was designed, like we're going to go with this, and then they changed up the color scheme. Like he still has got the top, like the same top, but then have the color break of like the kind of fuchsia like color like around his midsection there. It's a great look for the character.
Yeah,
but I'm all about the classic like all green and black look.
Yeah, at this point, He-Man, Man-at-Arms, they're off doing their own thing, and the whole
Mark Texeira does some wonderful artwork in these.
He really does,
man.
Yeah, I really like the facial expressions quite a bit here, and the shadow work especially too.
Yeah, beautiful shadow work and just the depictions of all the characters. Like they're very alpha, like everyone. And this right here, I always thought was so cool. Like the explosions from Point Dread and just seeing some of the Royal Guards like clearly are dying in action.
Mm-hmm.
And then Triclops is leading an assault. Like, oh, this is so fucking cool, man. And like the more guys, like, oh man, they're getting hit in the explosion. It's just so badass. It's like you're seeing, this was war, man. We're not shying away from this shit. Of course, this is when DC was kind of was doing their this is part under the DC brand as well. The first two waves of mini comics were under the DC, supervision.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, Skeletor's kind of had the upper hand, but we're gonna dispatch.
And this was one of my favorite pages as when I was younger too. Like just seeing more Triclops as he's leading and Man-at-Arms, and then to have them clash in that awesome panel down at the bottom, like that dynamic pose of like they're both strikes, just like they kind of ricochet off each other. Like it's just like they're evenly matched in combat. Like, oh, it's so fucking cool, man. Love that. And that this version of Man-at-Arms too, it's fun because he's not, here's my latest device and Orca, don't fuck around with it. This is the master of combat. And I love that. You see Zoar in action here.
I was going to ask you about that. because you say Zoar, and James yesterday when we recorded a UK comic that's going to show up later, and also here when we get to the record book, is Zor. So
I mean, inflammation is pronounced Zoar.
Yeah,
and I've never heard it pronounced any other way. And how does James pronounce it again?
He says Zor.
Zor.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be just kind of how
Well, I was saying though, like
pronounces it. Like,
well, no, but the record when the audio on the record says Zor as well. So I was kind of that's why I was going to ask, as I was like, oh well, which is it? I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, the way I say it would be right, and James, he's just a crazy Brit. So
okay. So we have a dog fight.
Yeah,
and once again, the Talon fighter has kind of been Skeletor. Like Skeletor has the advantage so far through most of this
book. Looks more more equipped than the Wind Raider. The Wind Raider looks like a great air assault vehicle, but the Talon fighter looks like it's for like. It just looks like it could do so much more damage just from a visual standpoint. You got to cover over yourself. You got a radar dish. It just looks like it hit up top speed. But then also the Wind Raider is all often depicted too as the top tier aerial assault vehicle as well. But there's something about the Talon fighter too. I think I would pick it over the Wind Raider any day.
Very, very interesting. But what happens here? Skeletor kind of just gets too full of himself and is like, "I'm going to follow the Wind Raider," and then he crashes and burns.
Yep. Goes too fast, can't pull up in time.
Yeah.
Right into the parapet base.
So as they do that, now the credit goes to you, He-Man. The fight went out of them once they saw their master fall.
Which I always thought was kind of cool too. Like, see this assortment of like creatures that Skeletor, that's his army. Just they're orange colored, almost as if like are they descendants of Beastman's race, or it's just we're going to make them this random race of savages, beastly savages that they're easy to command. We can take them under our control, and they're just mindless. They're out to loot and plunder. Take whatever you want, do whatever you want. Just take these people out. So
Skeletor's like, "What the fuck happened?" Beastman, "Hey, I tried to warn you. You shouldn't have done that at this point." Talon fighter, Point Dread. Oh, they're back on Castle Grayskull again.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have the crystal anymore because he dropped it and it shattered. So there that is. And that's how this one ends. So not a bad go here at all. And now we move over to the record book. So we have the Power of Point Dread and Danger at Castle Grayskull.
Well, I like this little opening of He-Man, listening to a record, following the instructions with his battle axe and shield hanging up on this tree in front of Castle. What a fun, cozy little image. He-Man's going to take time to listen to a record, storybook on record. I just think it's so cool.
But Tyler, you have such a problem with Adam knowing what technology is in the new movie. Why is this okay?
Oh, fuck off, all you modern fuckers. Yeah, you're gonna like that modern piece of shit. We can't talk He-Man anyway. It's already established what you're into.
Absolutely,
so the rest of you gentlemen can bugger off.
I love the artwork in this.
This Alcala artwork, and I was always a big fan too, and because they do this, and I felt like they did this in some of the Golden books as well too. Skeletor and Beastman having this little diorama of the heroic warriors in Castle Grayskull, almost like they're trying to play up a battle strategy of how we're going to take over. So He-Man's going to be over here, and Man-at-Arm's going to be over here. We'll attack Castle Grayskull from the left flank or something like that. And then Beastman just kind of looking curiously how we're going to do this, and it's an image that was used a lot in the early days. I just thought that was just a fun, super, a very villain thing to do, that you can have a diorama with pieces,
When I saw this, it immediately made me start thinking, this is very Bond villain-esque.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
like 60s Connery era Bond shit right here.
Yeah. It's just the classic imagery of Skeletor and Beastman looking over a situation. That's about as old school He-Man as you could possibly get. Yeah. And seeing with the king is early stages of King Randor there.
Mm-hmm. And he's about to get attacked by Beastman. I love the part where He-Man throws his axe right here.
Yeah. Very dynamic pose there.
The King, Randor takes a hit, but he's still alive, thankfully. And at this point, Skeletor's like, I'm going to take these ants. I'm going to make them gigantic. And I'm like, all right, yeah, let's roll with this.
Yeah, it's kind of a precursor of what we see in Filmation.
Yeah. As we're going through here, it's like, yes, no, friend, I have a new duty. It binds me here at this palace. So it's basically, as we're going through, we're going to plot this. We're going to keep He-Man busy so we can go through and do this.
And it says back in the mountains, like Skeletor has no stronghold here. He's not living at Point Dread. He's not living at Snake Mountain. He's just someplace. And it's kind of open ended at that time. You could even say like Skeletor has come from another dimension, but he has not yet established a stronghold yet. You could really play that up. That is, he's starting to expand his forces. I need my own fortress, and would take over the old home of the Snake Men.
But I do love the visual here. It's like these giant ants.
Yeah, it's a great visual, like a great battle.
Yeah. So then Zodak shows up. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he says, "Greetings, He-Man. I'm here to right a great wrong. Come with me." So he's talking about
this.
The balance.
Is what has fascinated me for a long time.
All right, is this where we get into you and the storytelling? Is this the panels that you're talking about?
When I saw this, like I think of Jack and the Beanstalk. Like I think of, He-Man and Zodak. Like Zodak's not gonna. He's gonna climb this epic mountain with He-Man. He's not gonna just teleport up there. Like I'm gonna climb it with you. And to show like among the clouds is this mountain peak. At the top of it is the Talon fighter with Point Dread. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it there's no landing platform on this thing. You have to climb up there to get to it.
Yeah.
And I love that concept. So it's almost as if like it was built with the means of like if you really want this thing, you can't fly to it and take it over. You got to climb your ass up there because you can't take an assault, like an aerial assault, like the Collector or something like that, and land there. You have got to either drop people onto the mountain and hope they don't slip and fall, or take the time to climb all the way up. If you got the guts and the courage to get up there, and all it's there is a small stone staircase to get to the Talon fighter. Like it's the big prize. Like it's like the scientists who built this. Like, look, we built this here. We wanted to establish like we don't want anyone else. If you're willing to get to the thing, you got to go to hell and back to capture this thing. You can't just fly up there and get it. You got to be willing to climb this mountain, brave all the way up to the clouds, and capture this or take it for yourself if you have the courage to do it.
I'm trying to find the part in here where they make mention of the amount of time it takes between. Is it mentioned in this one or is it the other story?
I can't remember right off of, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is that Zodak is saying here, it's created by the same scientist who built Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
Ages before the Great War. Point Dread moves through both time and space, so you can go anywhere in Eternia in an instant, just fly the Talon fighter above it to any place you want to go. So that's kind of like the super positive thing about it is I can get to places way faster.
Yeah, and that's why I like that if you want to get to it, the ultimate prize, you have to go through, I mean, it's the Eliminator. You gotta scale this whole thing by yourself. And depicting He-Man here, like classic He-Man, there's no extra, there's no battle armor, there's no thunder punch, there's no flying fist, there's no variant. It's just classic He-Man having to scale this mountain with his bare hands. And I had Axel use this in one of the illustrations he did for me too, because I just thought it was so fascinating, especially that it's high up there in the clouds, and that's what makes it think of like Jack and the Beanstalk, the fairy tale theater. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, well, that's a great battleground for a visual of like He-Man making his way up there, and are there evil warriors waiting Like they've managed to make it up there beforehand, and He-Man has to go up there after them, or are they after He-Man?
Mhm.
You know, to stop him from getting it and trying to like throw him off the mountain down through the clouds to his death.
Well, I also picture in that moment too, with it being as high up as it is in the clouds, that obviously the wind is going to be a lot stronger
Oh
too. And that,
God! All you can hear is just
yeah.
the wind and just the clouds. And if it were to like storm,
Mhm.
and it becomes just encompassed in storm clouds and lightning all the way up there, which is kind of what I have in mind for another Kevin Sharp.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I've actually kind of when you and I think we decided we were going to do this, and I feel like there was another discussion we'd had too, and I thought, God, I would really like to have, because Kevin did a PowerCon exclusive that had Smash Blade He-Man fighting Spin Blade Skeletor in front of Point Dread, and it looked fucking brilliant. But I'm like, I want to use the mountain peak way up in the clouds. I mean, you've got danger all around you. Like you're gonna die if you fall off this fucking cliff. Like there's nothing that can save you. You can't fly up there, and you have to climb up there. And I'm like, man, I want to see that done in the next one. So I'm waiting for Kevin to get done with the inks and the coloring on this current one. Then I've already paid him for the next one.
And that's I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's going to tie into some feedback that we got, and we'll cover that when we get
Okay, cool.
Yeah, after the commercial break. But
yeah,
yeah,
I was just so, when I came across that for the first time, that shot of Zodak like holding his hand out and pointing to another mountain away from them in the clouds, like, oh my God, that's just so fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
Like,
I honestly, out of all of it, I very much so prefer it being in this, and
I do too.
Not just sitting on Castle Grayskull.
It's away from everything else.
Yeah.
And it's something that few men, if any, had the courage to climb up there with their bare hands and not fall off, slip, or it's just not something that most people, because I mean, just envisioning this thing is way up there. And I just, and I, because when I wrote the Jitsu's Nightmare minicom, I envisioned like having this big battle around Point Dread, but looking at that again, it's like, if I really want to expand it and change things up, I could do that. But the idea that you can't fly up there and you have to climb up there. Mm-hmm. Now you could say, and I even thought about you maybe trying to work in the cliff climber, because this would be a prime way of incorporating that fun little accessory of He-Man using the cliff climber and scaling the mountain slowly but surely, like rocks are falling down. He's drilling, maybe footholds or something like, I just thought it'd be a great way to like incorporate the cliff climber into a story like that. If he finds out there's some evil warriors who are scaling that mountain, how can I get up there quicker?
Yeah.
Without alerting them immediately or something like that, by just flying right. I don't know.
Yeah, because you would have to sort of work in a thing that obviously there's no landing point for anything else to land and just show up, but someone could take the controls and someone could drop down on top of it. But you could probably work something in there that would also make that impossible as well.
Well, because I just look at it like, because much like the parapet too, it has like this very small staircase.
Yeah.
And I like that, inside the parapet is a control panel that has like, it gives you like immediate feedback of where Castle right here, like inside there, it's a battle station.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that, that's fascinating. Like something that's so far away, so hard to get to, but has like, I guess, state of the art, surveillance equipment in there that I'm trying to picture like what you would use as a child when it's advertised as something to attach to Castle Grayskull, but also attached, or it's like its own entity on the other, like another part of the planet.
Yeah.
And if if you can make it there, this thing would get you across the planet and back in lightning time.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so fucking cool.
And that's what happens here. He makes it to Skeletor and Beastman, and they're like, all right, you win this time, but I will be back. So yeah, that plane is too powerful for us, Master. We must flee.
So cool. And then that's when He-Man plants it on top of Castle Grayskull like that. And even the setup, which William George did in his posters and various illustrations, seeing Castle Grayskull up on this other mountain,
mm-hmm.
Like it's not just on a flat terrain, in the middle of nowhere. Like it's up on this mountain. You got to climb the mountain to get to it. Or William George to have like this kind of windy path up this big, like narrow mountain, like just making the trek to Castle Grayskull a lot more dangerous, not just walk right up to it. I always thought that was so cool. And seeing the spirit of Grayskull, like, thank He-Man for, scaring the shit out of Skeletor and getting him out of Dodge.
Yep. And Randor, he's going to be okay. We ended with, haha, well, let's just say I got the point.
Yeah. But boom.
That takes us to Danger at Castle Grayskull. It opens with He-Man, Man-at-Arms. What could this mean? They're fighting each other. It can't be, but it turns out that they're practicing.
Just practicing. And I like how Tila is illustrated in this story too. I like Tila with like her hair up and kind of hanging down a bit, and giving her blonde hair too is an interesting look too. I like that. She's quite striking when Alcala draws her like that, I think.
The attack track, they need to test this out because it's new. Go buy the toy.
It's Zoar.
Yeah, Zoar or Zord, depending if you're
American or British.
But yes, there's trouble. Skeletor and his men have been spotted approaching Castle Grayskull from the north. They are only a short march away from it, so we'll take the Talon fighter.
And Zoar is just it's a battle bird, an ally of He-Man, and not depicted as like the exterior form of the sorceress outside of Castle Grayskull. So it's always fun to kind of see like, hey, we're trying to work in all these ideas that we just thought would be great toys in addition to this toy line. We really don't know where we're going with it, but why not? And Battle Cat can talk. Why couldn't Zoar the Falcon like speak to He-Man as an ally that has just a surveillance bird essentially?
Yeah, but they make a point. Hey, it can only carry 2 of us, just like the toy. And Tila's like, yeah, you go ahead, Dad. I'm gonna take the attack track. Yeah. So with its magic, we'll be in Castle Grayskull in moments. So hold on to point your tits north and step on the gas, and they do it. They get there. Yeah, it's strange. No one's here. How is that working? So Tila is on the attack tracks. Like, oh, this is marvelous. These giant treads can handle even the toughest ground.
Yeah, you just picture the same. Like it probably like stops the bounce, even though she's the attack track is. I mean, you're like hitting top speed and just going over these, just rocky terrains. Like it's probably quite comfortable and probably even fun.
Yeah.
She runs riding a 4-wheeler almost.
Yeah. She runs into Manny Faces. And then suddenly Manny Faces changes into his beast self. It's like, nah, let me go. What could it be?
An ally.
Yeah. So it turns out the Skeletor's behind it all. So we got to release Manny Faces release him from your spell. No, I can't do that. We'll just wait for He-Man to get here, and then it turns out the attack track has a defense system. Now we'll leave it here to rot. Let's get to Castle Grayskull. So, anytime I see a vehicle having defense systems, I always think of the Batmobile.
Oh
when it gets the armor on it, and everyone's walking around inspecting, and it's fucking with people. So we get Triclops here. Go ahead and use your gamma vision to look around the corner. So this is the trickery here. Tila shows up at the gates. Put the drawbridge down. It's me. It's Tila. And then of course, drop your weapon. Everyone, I'm taking this for myself. I can finally learn its secrets. So, the point is your super suit. Remove your super suit. So he takes off the power harness, and now they're in a cell. Trapjaw is making jokes.
He throws a bucket of water to get his jaw to rust.
Yeah, he's like, the water's not going to do anything. Hey, well, I'll keep you company. Let me tell you this story about how I fought off 16 giant spiders. Don't talk to me. Just leave me alone. I was like, all right. So as he's doing that, much like you said, the castle traps start to reveal themselves.
I like seeing that, because there's something about the simplicity of this fortress of mystery that has traps for anybody. Like if you're not aware of it, the castle will consume you essentially. It's just that there's no guardian there. It's just again a world of fascination. Before the sorceress comes along, and I like that so much.
Yep. Trapjaw, this is when he rusts. And it's like, it worked. I was like, that's pretty fast.
Yeah.
for him to rust that quickly. So they get the keys. I love this panel right here.
Yeah, that silhouette there too of oh hell, get ready to break loose inside Castle Grayskull. Like it's just great fun, classic storytelling here with the early stages of Master of the Universe. Man, I love the simplicity of this time frame.
But Skeletor takes off and he kind of points the little turret here at Teal. It's like, yeah, throw down your weapons or she is finished. We get a twee, a little whistle noise here.
And Zoar's going to come in and bomb the shit out of Skeletor.
And then they all take off. Well, we get a shot here with Skeletor with his hood down.
Yeah. As the attack tracks ready to unleash hell on him too.
Yeah. So they take off, and then the end on that. So that is the record book. I'll put the links down below for the audio to that on YouTube if you guys want to give those a click and just listen to the story. Listen how it says Zor and not Zoar, and you can make up your own mind of which way you want to pronounce it. But as
I won't. That's not one I will ever argue with, Zor. But I mean, even in the Golden Book VHS tape, they pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced. I think Zoar. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Zoar when the sorcerer shows up in her form. It's referred to as Zoar.
Leave a comment down below and let us know which pronunciation of it you prefer. So we move on from that. We see the Talon fighter here in Filmation, which was not used very much at all.
Not much, but I remember when I saw it the first time in Orca's Favorite Uncle, which I don't like that episode at all. James likes it, and that's why he's wrong. But that was the highlight for me as a kid. It's like, oh my God, like it's that vehicle I own.
Yeah,
you know, that was super exciting to me to see the Talon fighter show up, and it shows up in a couple of other episodes, used very sparingly, oddly enough.
Yep, and here is the monogram model kit that we have here. So take a look at that. And shows you the Talon Fighter Attack Track model kits.
I always wondered why they went away from the actual. I mean, it maintains its form, but there's so many changes made to, like they put a cover on the Attack Track and they changed the front of it, and then the Talon Fighter has like the color scheme's different. It's a lot more slimmer. I mean, they look cool. It's just I wonder what made them feel like we're going to change this thing up. We're going to make some changes or some alterations, additions, whatever you want to call it there to that. But they do look cool though.
And they take this color scheme and use it for Dangerous Games.
Yeah.
Golden Book story. So there's a shot there.
With a book that has a great looking cover, but shitty artwork on the inside.
And then here's another advertisement for the Talon Fighter with a monogram, but also, hey man, you can get this Wrangler Grand National car. You can get this Frankenstein movie monster.
Looks amazing there.
Yep. The B-1B bomber. You get your flatbed trailer if you want. It's all kinds of stuff. It's better shot.
I was always fascinated by models, but too intimidated to even attempt it. We only put together one model. Me and my dad. It was the Batmobile from Batman Returns. That was only because I remember in comic shops back in the early '90s, like would have models of like the Thing and Universal Monsters and stuff like that, and I would I was just hoping that you open the box and it would look just like the picture.
Nope.
I'm glad I never attempted that. I'd talk about disappointment. Like I don't want to go through all this shit. I just want to set it up on my shelf.
And look at the Attack Track here.
Yeah, with the teal blue color scheme, it's you could have done that and release it as a different vehicle. Much like they would repurpose He-Man with Faker, Beastman, and McMossman, Stinkor from Merman. Like they could have repurposed that Attack Track and give it that color scheme and call it something else.
Once again, money left on the table.
Yeah.
And here,
this one I find fascinating too, because it's that race against time. Like stop them from getting to the Talon Fighter. Like, and one of the few times Faker shows up in anything.
Yeah.
I thought this was such a beautiful illustration by R.L. Allen, and again, that telling that story, like we got to get there before Skeletor does, and Skeletor commanding Faker to like stop those assholes. It's just again so fucking cool. And I had this puzzle. I remember getting this. I think when I was in my late teens, I think, and putting it together and put it in the frame and everything.
Do you remember what size the puzzle was?
I
Or how
had to
many
get a
pieces?
24 by 36 frame.
Oh wow, all right, that's very
Yeah,
sizable.
so there was space around it a little bit, but that was the size. If you don't, people don't know what I'm talking about. If you buy poster frames from Walmart, 24 by 36 is like the standard size poster you would get. You're like at a Walmart or Spencer's right now.
Yeah. Well, check this out. So we got the castle here. Here's the Talon fighter, and then over to the left along the way.
There's Point Dread up there. Like it's like the lookout point for Castle Grayskull. Like again, that's another cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
You
Got
know,
a waterfall right here too.
it's beautiful. It's lush and colorful and again they this just going all out with the first two waves of action figures, like putting this one big epic battle sequence. Like
I love
that. Why can't people want to put this kind of heart and soul into making, when you're going to advertise, man, this is what's going to draw a young child in. Like now it's like adult men. Like, I want to see this. Well, clearly you don't, because you guys keep buying us some lame shit.
But Tila's gonna run over.
She's gonna run over. He's like, enough of this shit. I'm just gonna fucking run her over.
I mean, she looks very panicked and mad
and pissed. Yeah. But Merman is probably gonna come out of the water and attack Tila there. But that's just, I mean, like, everybody, all the heavy hitters are there, and Zodak is depicted as a villain here.
Yep. You got many faces.
Or many faces under the control of Skeletor and shooting Zodak. So you could flip that either way you want.
You could. But yeah, I think this is, we'll still go with the Zodak.
Yeah, Zodak is the villain there, yeah.
So yeah, just some more shots here. Put Skeletor in there,
Yeah.
Yeah. He-Man, Tila. So now we move over to the classics, because this did come out in the classics line.
Yes, it did. I didn't buy it because I think the Wind Raider and the Sky Sled were the only two that I bought. I was like, I don't have room. It's just too fucking big, too much.
But they keep the 3 toys in one gimmick on the box here. And
they brought back Rudy Obrero to do this, even though I don't think he did the original box art, but it's very reminiscent of Rudy's.
It's pretty much an homage here, where instead, Triclops in the center here, instead of being more in the forefront, you get Skeletor instead.
Yeah,
kind of more.
Now how it's depicted here is like it's in this canyon between Grayskull and land. I think if you see like the full size artwork, like it drops down. It's almost like a tower of stone and like built up in this big crag, and it's like you could just jump over to it, I guess, if you wanted to. You want to run the risk of like breaking something or whatever. But
and the interesting thing about it, you get a Tila figure.
Tila is included. Yeah. There's another way to repurpose another figure. Like, oh, I've already got her. Like, put someone else in it. Give me more inspiration to want to buy it. I mean, outside of but it looked great. I mean,
it does look good.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
It's
a classic vehicle.
Yeah, I seem to recall though that I guess like the vehicles didn't sell as well, obviously, compared to everything else.
And they were not cheap. They were fucking expensive. Like Stridor, Night Stalker, and Battle Cat Panther were expensive enough as it was, but the vehicles, they were not fucking cheap. And you just kind of get to where, like, I can't do this. I still can't believe I bought Grayskull as expensive as it was,
Yeah,
and I didn't have it on display long because it just took up too much fucking space.
And that was what, 350, 400?
It was 400, yeah.
400 when it came out.
Yeah.
Now we move on. Of course, we have our Origins version here. So there's the box art for the Origins.
Yeah, with using the assault of using the Rotons, which it's always fun to see the Roton, and it's fun because that was done in the Earl Norman painting too, of having like a full like fleet of Rotons like attacking Roboto. So it seems that would make sense for a lot of stuff that you wouldn't just have one of something. Like the Roton seems like something that Trapjaw and Skeletor would assemble together, like this whole fleet that you could take off and not just rely on using like the war sleds, but you could fly the Rotons and maybe a fleet of land sharks. Only the certain ones you have like one Spydor, maybe one Night Stalker. But
and here it is unboxed from Origins. Not bad. bad at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look clunky as hell like the figures do. So
I don't have a comparison between this and the vintage, but it's not much difference there. So,
not really.
That's all. That's all I got. That's all we had for Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. I'm curious what you got with Kevin, what you're gonna commission there.
Yeah, like I said, I started thinking like, man, I did something with the Axel, but like the Point Dread is in the background. Like the point of the battle sequence is like, you know, trying to stop people from getting up there. Like now I wanted to like depict the battle actually is up there with the clouds and a storm brewing around. So you're going to have rain on this very narrow peak and a small staircase. And I'm like, and I kept thinking, how am I going to do this? Like, it's so like the space is so tight. Like, how do I thought I could work in the cliff climber and trying to think like what villains to use up there. I'm like, oh, I have to put a storm around there. And now we're like in there starting to rain, like you start slip and fall. Like
I wonder how Kevin feels about the fact it's like, oh, now I gotta draw rain. I wonder if he'd
not like just start like to show rain. Like not like it rain all over the place. Lightning in the background, storm clouds, like a bad storm is starting to brew as this battle is getting ready to happen.
He's done so many works for you at this point. Is there anything that he doesn't like to draw that you know that is like a big pet peeve for him that you try to avoid anytime that you're working on the ideas for these commissions?
With He-Man, no. The only time I think he's ever told me that, I remember he said he doesn't like to draw Transformers. And he drew Hound for me in a G.I. Joe Transformer commission he did for me years ago, like a crossover. And I thought, like, well, Hound being the Army Jeep, like, makes sense to have him with the G.I. Joes. But for the most part, like, him drawing, you know, like, stone, water, you know, like in the Whiplash when you got water splashing, and you got all the details of stone, you know, and the spikes and the extra details. Like I'm sure drawing things like that is probably monotonous for any artist, you know, when you have to put down layers of texture for concrete and rock, you know, in a mountain, or, you know, I'm sure all that stuff. And maybe it's not, maybe I just feel like that would be kind of details that would be like, where they really focus on drawing the character and maybe details in the far background. But, you know, I know if anything is trying to get the angle, like when he drew Whiplash, like I wanted the tail closer to the viewer. Like when you're looking, I wanted the tail, you know, like it's like the person who's looking at it, the tail is closer to you with the emerging, you know, from the water holding the power sword. I didn't want the tail hidden. Originally it was drawn in the back, and that's not trying to get him to, like, you know, sometimes I have a hard time, like I'm going very, and he says like that's why it's fun work, because I get extremely detailed. Yeah, and the more details you give him, the more, but also want to have fun with it, like be creative and kind of make it your own in a way. But I need these certain things there, and sometimes it's hard to like, no, I need it from this angle, and trying to describe.
Trying to articulate in a way where it's
and a lot of times we like to use references from other comic books, or even like, you know, sometimes we'll take a figure and like, okay, pose it this way, like this is what I'm looking for, you know, like if you can draw it from this, but from like an upward right angle kind of thing, and his art, is this what you're looking for? It's like if you could tweak it just a little bit more to the left, you know. And it's details like that, like, you know, because I know people who bought artwork, you know, from various artists, like they get frustrated because people are not detail oriented enough. They're just like, make it look awesome, okay? Like, what does that mean? Like, you know, be specific. What do you want? And I know what I want, and I'm like, I'm visualizing it, and I'm seeing this, and a lot of times, like if I don't have a visual reference, it could be completely misunderstood, like what I'm trying to go for. But sometimes there are happy accidents where I tell Kevin this, and I'm thinking something else, and he's like, I did this, like that's actually pretty fucking brilliant.
Yeah, give a little Bob Ross there.
Yeah, it's all happy accidents a lot of times. It's not intended, but like, you know what, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah,
And then sometimes he'll do something completely detailed, like, well, that looks great, but that's not really what I was looking for, you know? And I used to be really uncomfortable saying things like, you know, like, but I'm paying for this. I know what I want.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at some of the others I got, like, I could have corrected this and that, even though 95% of it is exactly what I wanted. But there's certain details. And I would do this with Axel as well, too. It's like, you know, I want this specific angle, like, but I trust their judgment of, like, they're so creative with what they do. Like, they can use visuals from other things and apply it to this image I'm painting here. Oh, that works perfectly, you know, or like in the one that Kevin's working right now, like, I've taken unused Harryhausen artwork and he kind of combined, like, the main idea and because I wanted to use the Harryhausen artwork as, like, the background, like the setting of this, and kind of made it into this one big image as well, too, incorporated with Conan inspiration as well.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I'm like, it's you know, not based on anything else. Like, I just wanted to see this concept worked into a He-Man story, along with the Conan idea worked into a He-Man story, and, like, this is what we got here.
You're gonna have to.
Like, I have to, like, have, there has to be a, like, you know, what am I going to call this though? Like, what am I? And even that was a pain in the ass. I'm like, I don't want it to be just some, like, you know, bad people do things, you know. It's like this has got to, it has to tell a story here. And I'm thinking, like, I know what I want to do with this. Like, you know, I got, you know, you got human sacrifice going on, but who's doing the human sacrifice? Like, why would they be doing this? Who are they doing it for? I'm thinking, oh, I could use him and and name it after him, but also imply that the human sacrifice is done in the name of him.
Yeah, and
so
it's funny you bring that up. For those of anyone's really starting to pay attention, no, Tyler's not doing any sacrificing of his own. I think he's lit a candle. No. He's lit a candle in front of him.
Oh yeah.
If anyone's noticing what that flicker,
I could be like this, you know. Yes, human sacrifice, you know. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, you know.
Yeah. But dude, you're gonna have to, at this rate, you're gonna have to just start clearing off some wall space somewhere else in your place just to display more of the artwork.
Well, I'll have to take down, you know, a couple of posters I've got, because I'm like, I've got, I think 5 or 6 pieces of artwork that Kevin's completed that are inked but not colored, and I'm thinking, like, man, I may just, you may want to hold on to those, because I may want you to color those.
Yeah, and
because there are, you know, 2 mini comic covers he's done for, actually no, 3 mini comic covers he's done for me that are inked. And after he did the first color, I can't go back now. Like, I have to get everything colored.
And that's something that we'll circle back around to when we get to the feedback. But is there anything else that you would like to add before we hit the commercials for the?
Yeah, I just, if people have an imagination of the Point Dread and the Talon Fighter, I'd love to know what people's thoughts of, like, what did you envision as a separate entity on the other side of the planet that people had to get to? Or it's much like in those illustrations, it's on a mountain peak and you had to get to it, or did you use it as like a you know, as a means of protecting Castle Grayskull, like put it up there like an extended parapet that you know, was left there with the castle before the sorceress idea comes along, and it's used as a means of helping protect the castle? Or, you know, if Skelter gets in there, hey, I have another means of defense, I can take this and fly over the planet and take over whatever I want. And
yeah, let us know which of those options that we went through there, and as they're trying to figure stuff out, which of those did you prefer? What did you use as a kid? Let us know down below in the comments. But I just
love the little small playset stuff. I feel like not everything's got to be these grand scale playsets, which those are the end all be all, but these small ones I like. I there's something extremely fascinating about. That's why I love the Horde Fright Zone. People shit all over, like, they ain't the Fright Zone, it's too small. Like, you don't understand this. Like, there is so much fun to be having. If I fucking had that Fright Zone playset as a kid, I dare say I probably would have played with it even more than I did Snake Mountain.
Yeah,
I played with Snake Mountain, Castle Grayskull. The hand puppet alone. My God, this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, you
know, with the tree and the jail cell, and I mean, it was just, I remember looking at the cross artwork of that on the back of the Horde mini comic, the Horde mini, and just thinking, like, what that thing must have been like to have in person as a child, and just thinking, oh my God, I didn't know it was a hand puppet. I wouldn't know for years that it was a hand puppet.
That's crazy.
I was just wondering how this monster that extends out and grabs people, I guess. And like, again, you're 4 years old, like wanting to know more about what is that?
Yeah.
It's where the Horde hang out. Like, this is awesome.
Now that was one of the good things about the internet coming along, is you getting to finally learn more about
learning what all this stuff was, and seeing the commercials and seeing the box art, and you just that insatiable hunger of like, there's so much more I want to know about this, and going through that dark time of not only what you come across at a flea market or what you stumble across in a video store or what someone decides they don't want anymore, and that's how you're piecing things together. And it was just like something like it was a hunger that could not be fed. It was just unstoppable. Much like others, but He-Man was the top tier. It had Thundercats and G.I. Joe and Turtles and Bionic Six and Brave Star, the list, Silverhawks, the list goes on and on. But He-Man, there's so much. Words can't describe how rabid I was. I was foaming at the mouth to learn more about this stuff. That I'm like, I know what's out there. I want to know more about it. And I'm like, I'm like, the Incredible Hulk TV series. I'm with my backpack and I'm wandering the earth looking for information on He-Man.
And luckily for you, there were people like James and people like Val that are sitting here and covering all of the stuff along the way, building websites and having that information ready for you to come across.
Yeah, and when I stumbled across, that the Adam Tyner website, and then He-Man.org comes along, oh my God. And just like go over to Matt Hilton's house, like, I just want to sit and look at He-Man.org. You mind if I do this? And just looking at pictures, and he's like, yeah, whatever. And, all right, then we'll look at nude celebrities later.
those fake ass photoshops.
Oh man, Lisa Kudrow and Jennifer Aniston naked. Oh, that's got to be real.
Let's go ahead though. Let's take a quick commercial break. Check out some of the stuff. I don't know what we'll have lined up on this go around, but enjoy these commercials, and we'll be back right after this.
Stay tuned.
So now the wolf has a wolf pack. Lone Wolf McQuaid, starring Chuck Norris, David Carradine, Barbara Carrera, and Leon Isaac Kennedy.
If we're gonna stop the crooks, us cops gotta know who they are. That's the Rock Crusher. No jail can hold them. And here's Berserko, a dangerous street punk.
Meanwhile, at the Crooks' hideout.
Look out for Long Arm. He's a tough street cop. Sergeant Mace, the SWAT team leader. And Bulletproof's a federal agent.
Give up, you crooks. You're surrounded by the cops.
Cops and crooks sold separately with caps.
And we're back. Tyler, all of this feedback comes from Eye of the Storm, the good, the bad, and the makeover episode. Starting off first here from Simple Tricks and Nonsense. Keep the story tragic. Snoutspout works to earn his redemption, believing his wife is dead, but time passes. As old wounds begin to scar and lose their intensity, she reemerges. The flood of emotion comes back, and Snoutspout develops hope for a moment, but the damage is done. Not only does she have feelings of abandonment and betrayal towards her husband, but the Horde experiment costs Snoutspout a chance at a normal life. It's the hard choices that make a hero or a villain. A grieving Snoutspout symbolically lays to rest his former life. He has joy in knowing his wife is alive, but their tale is over. He pledges to himself to try to prevent anyone else from having to endure the pain that he's felt. And we talked about this anytime that we get comments like this, especially. That's the beauty of it. We're doing the show where Tyler's got his own story. I'm tacking in some stuff here and there, and then you guys come to the comments and you say things like that. It's like, oh, well, this is going to be your interpretation of the story. And I love the fact that it's inspiring others to look at this in a different way or a same way, but taking bits here and there and changing things. So it's always awesome to see. Andrew HM5, you hungry, girl? And I was like, oh man, it's like, yeah, we're getting more half-baked quotes here. So I said, see the kind of trouble you get me into?
I actually just quoted that very scene with my brother earlier today before I left.
And so I responded with that quote, and then Andrew responded in kind, he's a diabetic. So
I love horses. I love butternut. Buttercup. Buttercup. Buttercup.
I'm a peaceful man. I'm a school teacher. And then Andrew also went on to say, thank you both, with like the
awesome. Thank you.
With the fist bump. And then Casey Duncan says, super cool, with a burst and some clapping stuff. So thank you, Casey, for leaving that. Moving on now to what we had here in the premiere chat. Let's go ahead. Should have had this loaded up already, but a variety of things came from these. First bit here from Johnny Cock. Our 80s franchises would ideally laid out in chronological order, and then one by one should be vaulted for 3 to 5 years so that we can miss or forget about them, and then brought back with a bang in a staggered way. So that, here's an example. In 2027 is the year of Transformers. 2028 is the year of TMNT. It would be a good way, but with so many hands in the pot and so many different companies, they're all fighting for toy space and hoping that they can put out a film that people will respond to, and that'll make a bunch of more money, so then they can continue the cycle of putting out more toys. It would be nice if you could get stuff staggered, or even say like, yeah, you know what, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, let's go ahead and let's have this dormant, much like it was back in the day, where, yeah, sure, Ninja Turtles that we grew up with runs its course after a few years, then we get the 2003 show. You look at Master Universe, that has its run. We get new adventures, that has its brief run, and then 10 years later we reassess and go at it again. I think this stuff needs breaks.
It does, but it also needs people who want to make it look badass and not just look cheap and lazy. And because I look at, even people shit on New Adventures, I love the look of it and the take. Okay, it failed. Then we go back to 2000, and like with Turtles, like Turtles starts off so fucking strong and badass, and then it gets silly as shit with Farmer Mikey and all these other crazy fucking variants. Then it comes back with the 2002 line, and the toys look amazing. Like the animation style, even though I don't care for the animated series, but the animation style, the look, and the feel of the toys and everything, like it was a great, like it's everything you're familiar with, but with a little bit more of an edgier look to it, to a certain degree. And like this, and when G.I. Joe came back with those 2-packs. At the time, like, oh my gosh, this is fucking amazing. Like, you get a G.I. Joe member and a member of the Cobra team and the same 2-pack with these great new designs. And again, it was trying to take it seriously, making the characters look badass and muscular and vicious and ready to kick all kinds of ass. Like, you're not taking the piss out of the line or anything like that. All right. And that fails, you come back with another one. Like, but stop trying to like dumb it down for babies and people who eat cake.
People who eat cake, maybe people who eat crayons.
That too, cake and crayons.
Fallen Eldor, the device Skeletor uses here would have made because he ended up correcting himself here. So the device Skeletor uses here would have made an accessory like Mega Laser Stilt Stalker. So it's like saying that, I guess it could create the accessory. Like, I'm trying to remember the correction that he made, but I understand the point that he was trying to make. And then Gary Buchanan popping in, NPC baby, I needed this, guys, and hey, we needed you. Glad we could be there for you.
Absolutely. I guess he means like with the device skeleton. I mean, I guess like the thing that creates the cloud.
I think so. Yeah, there was some correction that Fallen Eldor had made that I didn't save, but just kind of making a point that, yeah, I guess at some point Mega Laser and Stilt Stalker could have worked their way into the story based off of everything else that was going on.
I hate that, as much as people like want to dismiss those, like Mega Laser's used in the fastest straw in the universe, and then Stilt Stalker's used one time in one shot, one of my favorite mini comics, but I feel like you could have worked in a logical reason for something to have crossing over a terrain that's very treacherous that you don't want to be stepping in, and that's when you would really need the Stilt Stalkers to manage to, attack anything that, large snakes, on rocks or anything like that you're trying to avoid or something like that. Like, you really could have worked in a very logical way for He-Man to use the Stilt Stalkers or one of the other heroic warriors and not be dismissed as like this, oh, that's stupid. Like, no, you got to use in the right context and you have to care.
Yeah, because I mean, as they are, yeah. If you look at it just as is, sure, I understand people saying it's lame, but if you put it in a context like that, it's like no.
Much like a lot of stuff, like you don't
Yeah.
want to use you want to make sure a lot of these characters are used in the most prime situation. Like, don't just shove them in there because that's a new item. Like, well, that kind of kills the importance of the character. Like, put him in a situation where, like, we're glad he's here, or we're glad we have this. Don't just shove it in there because I'm going to defend Castle Grayskull with Stilt Stalkers. Like, no, that makes no sense at all. Like,
Yeah.
I no. It just like, just walk over, just tip them over. Like, no, just, use your fucking brain.
Fedmon popped in. The Ladybird books only went as far as Wave 4 for Master Universe and Wave 1 and 2 for Princess of Power. Mind you, there was some acknowledgement of the other series here and there in the last 2 Master Universe books and all of the Princess of Power books. So, yeah, it's crazy how some of that stuff fell in line with the time period that the run that they come out with coinciding with where it's at in the vintage line. Johnny Cox saying the unfortunate thing about Revolution and Revelation is it's been made as a shoehorned and disjointed conclusion to Filmation Master Universe, and it plays out as really the end game of the story. Yeah, you remember that when they were trying to advertise it? Like, oh, it's a continuation of this.
And that's what I'm like, no, it's not. You're telling that to people who don't know fuck all about He-Man, have no clue that the 2002 line came out, the classics came out, or even that Origins was even around. Like, you're playing off, fathers or grown men who have no memory, and it's strictly like, oh yeah, I remember that way back when. You're gonna sign me up. I'm fucking dumb enough to buy this. So it's just shitty campaigning. Trying to dupe people into thinking they're doing something they're really not.
Yep.
I still feel like the assholes behind that series need their need to be prosecuted in court and be held accountable for, like, you guys did this shit, and now the powers that be at the almighty Mattel want to continue to keep pushing this narrative along with all the other shit that Sir Knightlick came up with, taking a good shit. I'm just like, why are you line them up like the Usual Suspects poster? You're an asshole. You're an asshole. You fucking suck. You suck too. And I'm thinking, why are you guys getting away with all this shit? And why is Mattel thinking, like, we don't have a fucking clue what we're doing? So these idiots to come up with other ideas, we're gonna just roll with what they've got. Because I got to go take a shit myself, and I got a golf game. So you guys get this shit together, roll with it. I don't fucking care. Quality control, I don't know what that is. I don't care. Get that intern from downstairs. Get him to write these shitty stories that come up with these little mini comics here. That asshole can't fuck who draws dicks on the walls. Get him to illustrate the mini comics.
Fedmon going on to say, Asteroid of Doom was the last Ladybird Master Universe book, and Shadow Weaver's Magic Mirror was the last Princess of Power book. So a little bit of trivia there. Fedmon responding to Johnny, for me, the end of Filmation is the 87 movie and the New Adventures cartoon. Yeah, it's like, Filmation ended when it ended. And then, because I said we were going to circle back around to this, Fedmon said, could Tyler's mini comic covers also be posters and t-shirt art?
It's funny you bring that up.
Yeah, we've been discussing that a lot here lately, and we're gonna find a way to make that possible for everyone. So if you have an interest in these mini comic covers, we're definitely looking at prints and shirts, doing something with that. We're just trying to figure out the logistics of how we would like to do it. And
prints is something we were already talking about, and something for a future endeavor.
Yep.
Within this year is something we're gonna try and make happen. We don't know how many, but that's something we want to make available if people are interested. And that's something me and Nathan are already like, we've even reached out to Kevin about something in particular too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's agreed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to pay the man to do it.
Yeah.
And so we just hope there's a demand for it. We thought it was a great idea, but or is anyone else? Is it going to be like but Virgil selling pictures of Mike Tyson at his table?
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know that the demand is there, because we're constantly thinking about it and working on it. So there you go. Fedmon saying, thoughts on Brian May, lead guitarist of Queen, contributing music to the new movie soundtrack. Now, Brian May has worked on stuff. There's quite a few things. So Flash Gordon, the Mad Max I think the first two Mad Max movies. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by what Brian May will do with the soundtrack. But obviously, it's like the soundtrack can be good and the movie can be terrible. I have no doubts that Brian can put something great together for it, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. So that's pretty much my thought on it. Is he's done great work in the past. I'm open to listening to what he provides for the new film.
Well, if they're thinking like, hey, let's do what they did with Flash Gordon with He-Man, which Flash Gordon worked for Flash Gordon. You can't do that with He-Man. And I don't expect anybody to actually care about making people actually care and get goosebumps when they watch a new live action movie where it's going to be jokes and the tone is going to be all over the fucking place like someone is out of control with a crayon.
Well, we'll find out in about 3 months.
No, you'll find out in 3 months. You and James and everyone else. Me, I'm going to be sitting in my fucking home and avoiding a brain aneurysm.
Fallen Eldor. I never felt like old Hose Nose firefighting background was properly explored. I wonder if Extendar had kept to that theme of his firefighting color scheme, if they could have done something more. I'm real glad that in the NV Creations 2000X comics, they showed us the Eternian firefighting force of Snout Spout looking guys.
Yeah, I think that was a fun little Easter egg that I don't know if Val and Emiliano did it together or something. Emiliano came up with it on his own, but I was in my mind thinking, oh man, this is how we're going to get Snout Spout. And then of course Mattel's like, no, we don't like your ideas. You guys need to just do MV or the MYP shit, and that's it. Like, I hate that their hands were tied on what they really wanted to do with that, and it was fun that they did it and just snuck it in there because of, like, if they say, hey, we want to work in Snout Spout, you can't do that. We had no plans for that character. We got all these like shitty Snake Man variants work in here. Fuck your idea. So it was that's and I think they even got in trouble for working in that splash page of the Horde showing up at the end of the second arc. It's like, damn it, man! Like, can these guys just do what you hired them to do? Like, why would we do that?
Yeah, why? It makes too much sense. Why do that? Fetmon and Nathan, another discussion option: albums and music videos specifically made for 80s and 90s movies, like "Kiss from a Rose" for Batman or "The Touch" for the Transformers the movie. And that got me thinking. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's kind of an excellent idea to take some of these songs and either like I would say probably tier list them as opposed to doing a kumite with them, because music is very subjective. But I think tier listing a bunch of these songs from movies that we love and songs that we heard a lot on the radio when the movies were coming out would be a good idea.
It was another wonderful way of hyping up, and anticipating summer movie. That was seeing music, like seeing Seal's "Kiss from a Rose" music video on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
During the summer of Batman Forever, like, oh my God, along with the McDonald's glasses, the trading cards, the commercials, the posters that you could buy at Kmart, of the character posters that they were selling, like, oh my God, it was just, the hype was just, again, something, even though that movie is, oh my God, it's so fucking hard to sit through. So, I will sit through Batman Forever before I sit through Turtles 3, though. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would do that as well. Yeah. But yeah, either something like a tier list, or we could just take like a block of these types of songs and just discuss them. Like take 10 of them and just we'll run through. But
as much as I love Stan Bush, I was not a fan of the Touch song from Transformers the movie. Like, there's so many of the songs on that soundtrack I find vastly. And Stan Bush, we're talking about the guy who did, Bloodsport, Fight to Survive, Streets of Siam, songs for Kickboxer and Bloodsport and various other stuff. And I'm like, I don't like the Touch at all. Like, I don't get pumped. In fact, I find it be a very underwhelming, especially in the moment in the movie that's played. Like, I'm sure most people, I'm probably the biggest black sheep when it comes to that. Like, I don't get pumped when Optimus takes off and he starts taking out at Decepticon after Decepticon and leads up to the big fight with Megatron. Like, I don't think the song's kick ass enough, because I think it was intended for Cobra. The song was written, I think, intended for Cobra, I think, or Rocky 4, maybe in Rocky 4.
Okay.
But either way, it was repurposed for Transformers. I'm like, there's so many other songs on the soundtrack, like Instruments of Destruction, the song, the main thing by Lion Court, and the Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Like that song fucking rocks too, man. Like I hate saying it because I fucking love Stan Bush, but just not the touch.
I like the touch when Dirk Diggler is singing it when he's recording his record when his career is failing in Boogie Nights.
Oh.
I like that a lot. Fedmon goes on to say the music videos you could do frame by frame like you did with all the Master Universe episodes you discussed. And then Johnny popping in, hey, I'm still waiting on some more Marvel masterpieces. And then went in and say, oh, come on, Tyler. You want to talk about parking lot hot dogs?
I guess I just don't have enough information, talent, and experience to talk about parking lot hot dogs like some people do. I'd rather devote my time to having a life and experiencing quality stuff, not showing like, that's all I got.
More Marvel masterpieces. Yeah, we need to more of those.
I will say I would much rather tackle Series 3 with the Hildebrand Brothers, because Series 2 is, I bought it because I had a lot of nostalgia for it, even though the set as a whole is very underwhelming. Well, they've got artists from all over the place doing, you got Joe Jusko doing a couple, but then you have some really ugly as fuck ones. Like as a kid, I was like, oh my God, like I got Wolverine, I got Spider-Man, I got a Hulk. And then even though they're not as epic as Joe's run on the first one, where he made every fucking character look like a work of art. Mm-hmm. And the rest of them are just kind of like out there, kind of odd. So it's very subjective. And then some of them like, oh my God, like Joe Jusko did Iron Fist. Like his Iron Fist, like one of the best, because we didn't get Iron Fist in the first wave. So it was so cool to get Iron Fist, and he looks fucking amazing. But then you see some of the other characters by some of the other artists, like, God, this is really fucking ugly, man. Like, it's just not. But I'm like, I had a lot of nostalgia for Series 2. Got a bunch of packs from Santa Claus that year, and was stoked to get. Oh my God, I got Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, and Sabretooth, and Doctor Doom. Like, oh, and Magneto. Like, oh my, I was racking up Christmas Day with all these characters. So
yeah, we will definitely.
Series 3 is worth talking about because the Hildebrand brothers did a fucking amazing job with Series 3. And I think the third one, Series 4, it's another like, they'll take Spider-Man, Wolverine, and do like 3 different cards by 3 different artists. And of course, I was crazy to get them, but didn't have access to get them. And when you kind of go back and look at them, I'm like, these really don't live up to the standard that Joe set or the Hildebrand brothers. Like, this is just kind of, again, mishmash of like kind of decent. Some of them really fucking ugly. But then you look at like the X-Men Flare Ultra cards that were coming out. Another, no consistency. Some really fucking amazing ones, and then others like, God, man, like who screwed the pooch on this one? Like, how do you do this to Wolverine? This should be one of the best looking ones. Like, this is like kind of, it's shit stain.
We'll cover one of them at some point.
Yeah,
but also too, it's we have to really set aside the time.
Yeah, because Johnny, just we feel like when we've done those, only a few like it, and it's long. It takes a while to like break down, especially if we're talking inserts, and
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like now one we could probably burn through pretty quickly is the Spider-Man Flare Ultra that Mark Bagley did, which made a big puzzle, like made one big picture. You have 9 cards that make one big image,
mm-hmm.
And I was a fucking nut for that one because it was all Mark Bagley artwork. He's illustrated every Spider-Man character. It's all him, and they all make one big image, like they did with Marvel Universe Series 4. But that one's underwhelming as well. But it was a big deal at the time.
Well, let's bring James on for the Mark Bagley Spider-Man. He'll love it.
Oh yeah, I can show him what a fucking moron he is.
Fallen Eldor, spotlight other fan creations, fan art, fiction, custom figures. I said, what would you suggest looking for those? And then said, I don't know, I'm far too out of the loop. So I was like, all right. But then went to say this. I really enjoy hearing Tyler's takes, and I think more of that from other voices can help build the right kind of community.
Well, I feel like way before I ever came, even when I'm just like an observer on the org back in the day, the best stuff was coming from the fans, from fan art to customs. you know, there were a lot of good artists out there, like just fans who were just fans of the property and just come up with some beautiful artwork. And I'm like, why aren't these people working on the property? It's just like, no, it's whoever we hire in an inner circle, where they got talent or not. Like, we hired it and that's what we're going with. So, fuck off. Like, well, fuck you. I'm not buying your product. And and I feel like that's how it's the same with everything from Transformers to Turtles, Thundercats. I mean, G.I. Joe. I mean, the fans, like, there's some really passionate fans out there who got a lot of really fucking good talent. And sometimes you get lucky and they hire some really talented people to work on the properties. And other times, like, man, where'd you find this guy? Would you owe your boss a favor? This is my son Tucker. He likes the Turtles. So
fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks.
Yeah, Tucker sucks.
Thumon says this idea for a deep dive third-party Master Universe vehicles and play sets and mounts that were made for the vintage line. Pixel Dan has found a bunch over the years, and some are even RC vehicles. So, I think at some point we could probably take a look at a lot of that third-party bootleggy stuff from Master Universe, because there is a lot of interesting things amongst.
I mean, like Furza T always comes to mind. Where they just recycled all the figures and came up with like Shidoshi and Platino and. I mean, I'd like to see them kind of worked into the mythology, because they are just, repurposed He-Man figures, just colored differently with swapped heads and things like that. I mean, I could see Shidoshi, which is just a repaint of Jitsu. I think he's got Fisto's armor, and I'm like, yeah, like make this heroic Asian character, someone who comes in and maybe helps. Since no one on the heroic war side knows martial arts, you got ninja and jitsu working for evil. Why not have Shidoshi come in and be someone who is a martial arts master for the side of good? And Latino's maybe a blacksmith. He's got the green He-Man hair and a green facial hair. I think he's got the fist of fists. Like, make him a blacksmith. Yeah, they got Spiker as a blacksmith, and Carnivore and all these other characters that are repurposed. Webstore and Beastman and Clawful, like, make them a new faction that are they're not new evil warriors. They're a faction that's aligned themselves with Skeletor, much like the Snake Men have their own agenda, but they're aligned themselves with Skeletor. Like, I could totally like envision like having Kevin like working in like having Jitsu teaming up with He-Man to take on like Ninjor and Jitsu or something like that, I think I said Jitsu, Shidoshi and He-Man on an adventure of some kind like that, and working in Carnivore, and I forgot what the name of the Beastman and the Web Store repurpose are, but they're beautiful looking figures. And when I came across, it was too fucking late to get them. Like, they were so expensive. Yeah, even way back in the day when I'm like working for peanuts, it was just like, oh boy, I don't know if I can afford this. Like, I could afford it now, but now where they are now is like, no, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
But I think there's some cool ones, but that was by far like the best reuse of those figures that you could work them into the mythology. Don't have Mattel do it though, because they'll look clunky as shit and make Sunman look like, Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
And then, dude, Keenan's been on SNL for so long now.
I know, and he's not funny. And
he can be, but I've
never seen it. I enjoyed him on All That for a brief stint, but even then, I don't look back on that and think, oh my god, he was a comedic genius.
Yeah,
by any means.
But that was all the feedback that we got. So you saw there in the premiere chat. Make sure if you want to join in on the conversation with that, you see the premiere going on. Most of the times now, Master Powercast premieres its newest episode Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we've kind of decided that anytime we talk about something else, so Bionic 6, Thundercats, whatever it may be, episode review of that, those are going to start premiering midweek or late week. We're going to keep Master Universe stuff on Sundays at 7, but anything else will be 7 p.m., but it will be probably Thursday, Friday, so you can spread that out a little bit. Little update. I went to a comic and toy shop about 45 minutes away and actually found some GoBots. I sent them to Tyler, so I got Waterwalk, Tank, Heat Seeker, and I got a Super Psykill, which I was actually looking at a Super Psykill on eBay. So it was awesome to find this in the store, great condition, a little bit cheaper than eBay. I'm like, so that worked out. So that's the update there. I watched only one episode of GoBots this week, so I'm sitting at episode 59 of 65. So about to burn through that. This shop also had some Rock Lords. So I was already telling Ty, I was like, yeah, probably, maybe next week I'll go back to that shop and just buy all the Rock Lords that are there just to get ahead of myself.
I love to know which ones you had that were there that you're like, Which
no,
we know Nathan would spend too much money, and I don't blame him for that.
Yeah,
I was just like me. It's like, how do you pass them out there right there? But like, I get it. I just would love to know like who was available right there at your fingertips.
I would have to look at the checklist picture on the internet, and once I saw the names, I could probably riff them all off to you. But yeah, because I don't foresee those being sold. So yeah, I might definitely go to that.
Fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, like Rock Lords are not in high demand, which makes them all the more easier to collect for the most part. I feel like there might be a few. Of course, it's been a few years since I've looked them up, so I don't know if they've gone up in price, but they're not a heavily sought after line. You don't see people celebrating that line. I think if you want to get into it, now's the time to do it before someone decides, hey, everyone decides to get on the bandwagon, and every scalper in the universe is, it's $25,000 for a loose Magmar with a skid mark across his face.
Yep. So that's my update on GoBots. I watched a movie last night. I watched Predator Badlands last night.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you watched Demon Warp.
Nope, I haven't watched Demon Warp yet. You and I both got that on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome in this week. I'm going to sit down and watch.
You picked Predator Badlands over Demon Warp, man.
Well, now you're really going to hate me because I didn't think it was that bad. It wasn't that bad at all. Now, granted, hear me out. I understand the aspect of the way that the story is like, to me, that's not a Predator movie. And I totally get that. But at the same time, I felt with this franchise, and especially the way that it's been prior to getting Prey and Predator Killer of Killers, when you look at Predators and the Predator, those were so ass that, yeah, I like seeing different stuff. So Prey is like very much traditional Predator movie. Killer of Killers kind of takes that concept. We put it in an animated form. We have the various things like, here's samurais taking on a predator, doing it in different eras. So we've talked about that before. So to do Predator Badlands and to take a character that is sort of perceived as the weakling of its own clan, and shit happens, and this character decides, yeah, I'm going to go kill this, make a name for myself. And you kind of tie in the hints of the Ellie Fanning's character. It's much like it's the Wayland tech. So it's like, all right, here's a little bit of an alien reference for the people. Wasn't bad at all. It's better than Predators. It's better than The Predator. It's not as good as Prey to me. But also, too, none of that stuff touches Predator and Predator 2. So it's not bad. A lot of people were kind of being like, oh, it's going to be, I guess to a degree, it's got humor to it, but it wasn't eye roll inducing for me at all. I was like, yeah, all right.
Just based on what I see in the trailers, it looks like they're pushing the humor with the shitty fucking robot, whatever the fuck she is.
No, I mean it's there, but it wasn't an overabundance of it to where it's like, all right, I need to turn this shit off. Like it's entertaining enough for what it is. So I enjoyed it enough. It's one of those films. It's like, yeah, if it was on TV or something, my dad's watching it and I go and visit them and it's on, yeah, I'll sit down and like peek at it. Is it something I'm going to sit and revisit as much as I've watched Predator 2? Absolutely not. But it's better than Predators and The Predator.
Well, I guess it helps that the bar was set so fucking low by those pieces of shit.
Yeah, but same time, I just with Dan Trachtenberg, because he's the one that's directed all of these newer iterations. I like what he's been doing. It's like it's good that you're doing some fresh stuff, and it's not just playing in that normal sandbox. So yeah, I don't know. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Predator Badlands if you've watched it. But I am gonna watch Demon Warp. I might do that later tonight after Emily falls asleep. But I do have a hockey game, so I might watch that. They lost in overtime last night. I was pretty pissed about that. You see Tyler sporting a Miami Heat jersey. You actually went.
This is just a Nike sleeveless shirt here. I wore my jersey yesterday.
I mean, it looks like
it's part of the Heat culture line that they had going about a year or so ago.
I mean, it looks like shit that they would wear on the court too, because I know they do the very.
They actually had Heat culture jerseys, which I own one of those too.
Yeah,
so.
But yeah, you went to the Heat game because they were at the Charlotte Hornets last night, and you sent me a video, and I love seeing that vintage logo at half court. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah,
love it.
And just that atmosphere, and boy, I tell you, that place was packed. Like it at first, I'm like, man, I guess it's just not that. I mean, people coming tonight, but boy, it was slammed. Like once the game got going, the whole fucking arena is buzzing and people screaming and yelling. And,
well, Tyler, it is nicknamed Buzz City after all.
It is, yeah. And I mean, there were a lot of Heat fans there too.
Well, I took a peek at the standings. This is kind of like the battle for the last playoff spot.
It is, and they're. Unfortunately, the Heat again will be in the play-in tournament again, and the Hornets look like they'll be fighting for a spot in the play-in as well. So it's a good chance the play-in may come to Miami and Charlotte again.
Hey, maybe you'll get to go to that game.
That would be awesome because they play in Charlotte again at the end of this month.
Are you thinking about maybe going again?
I mean, I would love to pull the trigger and just buy a ticket and just go by myself and sit right behind the Heat bench.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I remember years ago you got some.
I did that once for the first game. Me and my dad went. We sat, I think, about 6 rows behind the Heat bench, and we were so fucking close to them.
And this
you
was
think 6 rows back. You're like, well, that still is like no. The when you watch and you've been to professional game before, like the TV makes everything look bigger than it really is.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're there in person, like you're just like you can see the stitching on the jerseys. You're that fucking close, even 6 rows back. You're like, oh my god, like it just like there's Alonzo Mourning sitting right there, and there's Coach Spo, and here comes Udonis, and. Just like, oh my god, it's unbelievable. Like the scale, even as high as we sat last night, like I could still tell who was who on the court, and everything. Like, and I mean, just think, oh my god, there's like nosebleed like way above us too, and yet it feels like there's not a bad seat in the house. They get a big Tron there in the center of the court, so you can see everything up close, no matter where you're sitting at, and it's a hell of an atmosphere, man. It's for a team that hasn't been doing good for a long time, man, that is a loyal like basketball town. Like they love the fucking Hornets, man. Yeah,
it was so stupid that they moved from Charlotte and went to New Orleans to begin with.
Yeah, then made it in the Bobcats. Oh,
yeah, and they were that. Yeah, that what was that like the 2012, 2013 team was like the worst NBA team ever or something.
Yeah, and they ended up playing the Heat in the first round of the playoffs one year. Went back when it was like LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, and crushed them in 4 games, as to be expected. But hey, they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I've never been on a plane before, but I've sitting there. I've been tempted. I was like, yeah, you know what? I kind of just want to fly to San Jose and just go to a Sharks game. Go to the tank. Go to the SAP Center.
I see. I'm the same way about seeing the Heat playing the Kaseya Center. Like I just would like to see one time. See Bernie running around, greeting fans, the fire erupting when they do the starting lineup. Like, just see one game. I don't care who it is, one home game in Miami. So I'm right there with you, dude.
We're talking about movies.
Are we bullshitting too much? Are we going to upset people, or that we're just talking?
Yeah, we're talking.
We don't want to upset new listeners who clearly have just found us in their algorithm and come across us and like, oh my god, they're so into talking about themselves. Well, we don't want to upset you there, buddy. So if we are, please leave another comment under another account.
Speaking of movies, though, since it is the weekend that we're recording this, you got anything lined up? Obviously not tonight, but you got anything planned that you would like to watch tomorrow?
I'm definitely going to check out Demon Warp and watch it in 4K and watch the special features and check out Michelle Bauer. She's interviewed for it.
Let's actually, the next time we record an episode together, let's do that. Since I'm going to watch Demon Warp, you're watching Demon Warp. when we get to the end part of the show after the feedback, I want that to be the thing. Let's review that 4K.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about the bonus features, all that stuff.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. I should. I'll be like, Tom, are you at home? Can you join us real quick, just for like this 30 minutes?
Chime in here real quick.
Yeah, we'll just talk. We'll talk Demon Warp for a little bit. All right, Tom. See you later.
They tell me Michelle Bauer's fucking hot. Yeah, damn right she is. Yeah, she's the hottest, man. Oh my god, I swear I can't think of having an intense crush on any celebrity since like childhood. You know, like I'm like mad in love with like Nicole Kidman and Batman Forever, Elizabeth Hurley and Austin Powers. Like I'm just like, or Tyra Banks, you know, like 90s, where I'm just like, I'm batshit crazy about these ladies. Like Michelle Bauer is just like made me feel like I'm a teenager again. I'm just like, and I'll tell her that when we meet her at FrankenCon. Like I'm just overwhelmed with like I got to see more of her. Is she in it? Fuck it. You know, is she not? I ain't watching that shit.
Tom was unaware that you bought Demon Warp, because I sent him. I was like, "Yeah, this came in the mail today." And he's like, "Tyler's going to be so jealous." I was like, "He bought a copy." I let him know as soon as it was up, and he bought it pretty much when the pre-order link.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I bought a DVD of it like last year. Like I've already watched it and loved it, and funny as hell. And I sent Nathan a couple like random clips of some of the goofy shit that happens in it. And when Michelle shows up and shrugs her shoulders and takes her top off, like. Yeah, we're all good in the world here.
Yeah,
so fucking hot, such a beautiful woman.
Yeah, so if you're interested or you're looking forward to it, you got a Demon Warp disc review coming up on the next recording. But let's go ahead, Tyler. Let's wrap this up. I hope everyone enjoyed us discussing Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on all this stuff. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and until later, let the power return.
Thanks for the espresso maker and the bag of shit.
Should I know this?
Well, you've watched it and you really liked it.
So I've only watched it once, you think?
But you genuinely liked it.
Espresso maker, bag of shit. Give me another.
Put out that dog rocket.
No, that's not ringing a bell either.
Let's see. I like it to meet my granddaughter, Aldona. Ever since she's been like a milkweed in the spring breeze.
It's a shot in the dark. I might be totally wrong here, because you're saying I really liked it. I've only watched it once. Nothing but trouble.
There you go.
All right. Got it.
Yeah.
That movie
fireworks effect. Now would be time to play it right now.
Yeah, dude. That movie fucking rocks. I need to watch it.
Oh god, it's amazing. I fucking love Nothing But Trouble.
That's another thing. Why do people hate it so much?
I don't get it, man. I remember Joe Blow way back when like did a awfully good on that, and it was shitting on there. Like, why? And that was a film we grew up with, like the old days of like 2 Thumbs Up Video and renting that and watching the ever-loving shit out of that movie. Like my entire family, my mom, my dad, and my brother all laughed our asses off watching that movie and just thought it was so fucking funny and creepy at the same time, much like watching The Burbs or Ghostbusters, where it's funny, but you get scared a little bit. And to learn that people have dumped all over that movie and thought, this isn't fucking funny. Like, you probably like fucking Will Ferrell movies, so fuck off.
I guess it's like Marty McFly. I guess you guys aren't ready for that, but your kids are going to love it.
Probably so, because I don't get it. With a star-studded cast in that movie and everyone's delivering great performances, great set designs with Vulcanvania and just this crazy shit. And I'm thinking, like, how do you hate this movie? Like, well, I don't get it. Much like a lot of movies that I feel like have developed either a non-cult status or people like The Burbs, like Bomb, didn't do great, but people who've seen The Burbs, not only do they like it, they fucking quote the shit out of it. You know, and I'd like to think that, you know, Nothing But Trouble has that, and it doesn't. You know, I was thrilled to death that you liked it. And
I fucking
outside of you and my family, I don't know of anybody else really that has ever heard of it or.
I think Tom likes it.
I don't remember what he
can't remember
would
what
be someone who would probably appreciate that movie.
I can't remember what he said about it. We got to get
We need to invite him back on anyway. He's
yeah,
he's got an appearance anyway.
Yeah, something. Whether we're talking more Demon Warp or some other shit movie, or we're doing because he really digs those whose mini comic is it anyways.
And I think maybe we should try to aim to get him on for that, and then have like a shitty movie.
Yeah, shitty movie.
You know, like preferably a Michelle Bauer movie.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, because the two of you are very well versed in Michelle Bauer. I've only dipped my toes in a couple of.
And I have not actually, like, as much as we've talked, I've never actually had a full on discussion with him about Michelle Bauer movies. Like, outside, he told me to watch, Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, and that's just when, it erupted from there. And then watching 1 Million Hills BC that was attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my heart starts fluttering and pumping out of my chest there. I'm like Jim Carrey, the mask. My tongue falls out of my mouth. And eyes come popping out like, oh my God, I got to find out more about who this woman is. So I haven't really got to really break down, like, if Tom hadn't pointed that out to me, I would not be the avid Michelle Bauer fan that I am today.
All right, well, we'll bring him on. We'll thank him, and we'll talk some more shit movies, preferably Michelle Bauer ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I have that to look forward to for all of you. But yeah, we'll just wrap it up. Thanks for watching.
Appreciate your time.
The worst nightmare, Tyler. Have someone in our organization giving us up. Probably for money. I'm gonna drop out, go race my bike, get laid.